The CUT112 is a point-to-point 112-mile run that challenges participants to run through the entire state of Connecticut, from the Massachusetts border to Long Island Sound and Guilford, without stopping to sleep. This unique arrangement removes some of the pressures of time and makes resiliency a greater factor. This route has been completed every year since 2017, but 2026 was the first year that had no female finishers. If you are a woman with resiliency and grit, I encourage you to join the training group that Jillian, Cherie, and Anna discussed during this episode. Hope you enjoy episode 359 of the Cultra Trail Running Podcast.
From the belly of the Beast Coast, Glastonbury, Connecticut, this is the Cultra Trail Running Podcast. We talk about all the fun shit that happens on the trails that most normal people don't care about. The language we use is fucking explicit and raw like the trails we run on. So don't listen with your kids! No kids. Cultra is brought to you by our Patreons and supporters, and we are 112% listener supported, and support is good.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Cultra Trail Running Podcast. I am your host, Art Byram, and I am broadcasting live from the Northern HQ today, from the front porch of the Northern HQ. So, but that's enough about me, because this episode is definitely not about me, although it is kind of about me. It's kind of about everybody. So joining tonight, I have Anna G. How you doing, Anna?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm enjoying your beautiful view of the mountains.
Yeah, you're gonna watch the sunset here. So, and also joining, we have Jillian Elfson.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Fantastic.
All right, and Cherie Bilby.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Cherie. Very good to have you guys back here.
Good to be back.
Yeah. So I guess we all got to see each other at the CUT this year, which was fun. That was just, I guess, just over a week ago, I guess. Time keeps going by, so it's hard to keep track. But so first of all, we want to talk to you guys about your experience at the CUT and what it was like for you there. And then I'm going to actually have Anna run the whole show tonight because
the whole show?
Yeah, the whole show.
Like 80% of the show. Maybe.
That's right. So, Anna, maybe you could kind of, maybe take it from here, because I seem to be tripping over my words here. So we'll pass it off to you here.
Yeah. So I think part of the impetus for inviting Jillian and Cherie was a post that Jillian made in the CUT112 Facebook group, which I assuming was inspired by the fact that this year there were no women starters of the CUT. And I think there have been something like 10 total finishers who are women of the CUT in the, 7 or 8 year history. Right. And I'm just going to read Jillian's post, okay, that got, something like 61 reactions and 112 comments. So it was very, very, it spurred a lot of enthusiasm.
How many comments?
I think 100 actually, I think that's true. I didn't actually write it down.
I'm going with it.
Oh, I'm sorry. 107. Oops.
No, you were
if five people write comments right now, it'll be 112.
That's right. I think I'm going to write 5 comments right now.
Since we've started, there's already been like 3 more comments. Yeah. So hopefully by the end of this, we'll get to 112.
Right.
There you
Close
go.
enough. So this is what she said. Yup! ! I'm starting this now. I'm going to start a non-official, official women's CUT training group. I'd like to get a group of women to take the next year and train for this epic adventure. I'm going to start a Facebook group. We can check in weekly and get together for some training runs. We can check in every Tuesday. Who's in? Alyssa Freeze, Celeste Kunin Fong, Cherie Mekas. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your maiden name, Bilby. See you next Tuesday, Heart. So,
and it is Tuesday.
Yeah. People got very, very excited about this. A lot of women chimed in saying, I think something along the lines of, I was thinking about that, but now I'm definitely doing it, or something like that. Either people were thinking about it, this particular year prompted them to think about it, or this post inspired them to think about, the fact that they too could experience the glory of the CUT. So I think,
you want the total official count of how many people responded with, oh my God, I want to do it.
Yes.
There's 20 women and then 6 maybes. So I have a total of 26, and then 16 what I call athletic supporters that are there to, like, support us, but I bet some of them might jump in
Yeah.
Very
and
good.
join us. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely. So we're really excited tonight to, you know, many people know Jillian and Cherie, but like, let's get to know them better, and figure out what like makes them go and inspire other women to do hard things like this. Um, and just find out about, what you have in mind for the group. And also just, hear about your memories of the cut and how the training went when you, trained for it. I believe you trained for it, I think, together, and how that, impacted how you felt about training and the ultimate experience. So I'm very excited for this conversation. So maybe if again, most people know you, but for those who don't or don't know all of the details, maybe you could just each of you talk about, your journey to trail running, trail adventures, and sort of maybe any, the other side of your life. What do you do? What do you like to do outside of running? Just, a little mini bio.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing this. I actually did go back and start listening to the ladies of the Cut 112 episode where, you spoke with Mira and then Jillian and I about our experience. Well, anyway, I'm Cherie Bilby.
Very
So
busy.
I've always been an athlete, but not a runner all my life. I kind of came to running late. So I think I've been running probably close to 10 years. It's like when my kids were all crazy busy and I wasn't doing anything for lots of years. And I decided, oh my gosh, like I'm just starting, my clothes are feeling tight. I really should be doing something more. So when they were at their various practices, I started running. And I, of course, you start on the road. And I grew up in the woods of Pennsylvania, and I literally played in the woods and I did some hiking and stuff, but I didn't think that people ran in the woods until later. So when I found trails, like I would take my kids to gymnastics practice and I would literally drive by the Shinipsit Trail on Kingsbury Road all the time and not realizing that the trolley trail that a lot of us Shinipsit Striders run on is right, that I drove past it literally probably a million times. So anyway, I found the trails. I absolutely love them. And part of my impetus for longer running was just to, as a master's prepared exercise physiologist, was like, well, what does it feel like to go that far? Like, can I do that? Could I do it? Like, what does it feel like to run 100 miles? I mean, Jillian and I, we listened to many, many, many podcasts. Cultra was one of those to start with on, tips and tricks on things to do when you're running and training for a 100 miler, food, nutrition, hallucinations, like the whole thing. And we decided we would run our first and train our first 100 miler together. And we did that really in mind to do the cut. So it was like if
I
we
think that was
can
in Sherry's mind.
well, we were both
We
thinking
were
this
talking
along
about
the
it.
same lines. If we can do this first thing, which we picked a hard one to do, and I feel like I'm a glutton for punishment, as we all are probably. It's like you pick something really hard to see if you can do something even harder. And so we decided we'd run Virgil Crest. We got that done, and then we moved on to the cut. And I think we were, Amy Jennifer Hanlon finished it the year before or 2 years before, 2 years before, I think, right? She was 20. Was she
I think it was
2019?
2021
I don't
actually,
remember.
so maybe just 1 year before I
21. Okay, so the year before. And I remember listening to her episode and she had done what I mean, we modeled after her is like you have to train on the course. And I would tell anybody that like
Mhm.
you have to get yourself on those trails and find the tough spots, find the areas where you think you might, miss a turn, um, and see what they're like and really, really have an understanding. So Jillian and I did that, and we broke it down in sections starting in January and just did anywhere from 12 to 20 milers on different sections of the trail. We did the whole trail twice, if not three times, in a lot of sections. We ran the sections at night that we thought we'd be running the course at night. And I would recommend that people do that kind of work when they're
Right.
preparing. I think
Exactly.
it's really hard to get to the trails. Your best chance at finishing, I think, is to get on them and see what you're up against, because they're different.
Mhm.
My next thing coming up is I signed up for Eastern States 100, which I remember Howie told me was harder than the cut. And I was like, you can't be serious. Like nothing can be harder than that. So what do? I try something that is going to be really hard. And we're 4 years down the road. So I'm a different person. My body's different now. And I'm having doubts. So I said after Jillian put this out there, I'm like, it invigorated me because you change over time, and even having finished the cut, you still go, well, shit, can I do that? Like,
Mm.
am I going to be able to do this? Like, I'm having more doubts than I ever had in a really long time. And so bringing this up and getting everybody's mindset into like, well, why not us? And I did go, and I wouldn't mind talking after Jillian talks about who she is about the Sheastern States. So it's a very similar thing that Jade Oaks is the race director of the Eastern States 100. About 3 years ago, they put together this effort to get women on the trails and do a trail camp in April leading up to the race, not just for training for the race, but just to get other women on the trail. So it's something I went and did in April. And I'd love to share about that too. But it's bringing all this together, and it's a really, really cool way to support each other to help people do something really big that they think they might not be able to do otherwise.
Great.
Yeah. So my story is can you guys hear me okay? Yeah.
Yes.
So my story is a little bit different than Sherry's. I started running a long time ago. When I was 14, I was a basketball player for a long, long time until I realized I had stopped growing. And at 5'2", I was not a strong basketball player. And someone told me, you know what you should do is you should try to run cross country. That will get you better at basketball. And I stopped playing basketball and started running. And I really been running ever since, off and on. I've had 3 kids, so I didn't run through pregnancies or anything like that. There was definitely big pauses in my life, but I've always been a runner. Now, when I say I've been a runner, let me kind of paint this picture for you. When I was on the cross country team, I was one of the slowest, if not the slowest one on the team. We would do runs before meets. We would call them Jillian runs because they would put me in front, and that was to slow everyone down and make it kind of a slower run. Um, that's kind of how I go. I'm just kind of slow and steady. Um, I got a little bit faster about, I think 35 is the magic age of being speedy. So I was doing a lot of road running, and I ended up qualifying for Boston. I ran Boston in 2017. And then all of a sudden I was slowing down and I was slowing down, and I was part of the Striders, so I did do some trail running, but someone was like, maybe you should just kind of stick with the trail running. And I did. I fell in love with it. And I was like, this is a very comfortable place to be in, that I call it the spirit of cross country. Like it's the running on the trails is so different than running on the road because of so many things. You get obviously the terrain, but it's the attitude, it's the spirit, it's kind of the um, ambiance, if you will, of running is fundamentally different. And I started running on the trails around, after I ran Boston, I hopped on the trails and really, really fell in love with running at that point. Now, there's still Jillian runs. I mean, they're still slow and steady, and there's nothing amazing about it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I felt so drawn to like put something out there for the cut is that, Cherie and I always talk about like we're nothing special. Like everyone, I think people have gotten in this is my theory at least. I see that not a single woman ran the CUT112 this year. And I know that Celeste was I think she had dropped down to the 50. She's always been one of the runners, that's gone out there and tried it. It's also been a couple years since a woman has finished it. And I think it's even been more years, maybe since we've done it, since someone, oh gosh, how do I say this? Like someone slow and steady, like we're not out
Mm.
there at breakneck speeds. We're not FKTers. We're not like, we are very much ordinary women. And so when I saw that there was no women that had signed up, I was like, okay, this has got to change. And then I was like, and I got to run it again. And I'm exactly like Cherie. I mean, it's been 4 years. There's been a lot of changes in my life. Perimenopause is a fucking real horrible, disastrous thing. And, I'm heavier and you name it. Like it's not but I still know I can go out there and do it. I really know. I'm like, if we do exactly what we did before, maybe take a little bit longer, we can do it. And I think that was really my driving po force of putting that post out because the way Cherie and I trained was, and we're lucky to live right here. We did. We took our time and we went out and we took section by section. We planned it out. And we just kept at it. And I mean, we were out there in the snow, we were out there in the dark, we were out there like we were just out there a lot. Now, there's another thing I want to talk about, which is as women, and I think Sarah Connor posted about this. As women, we carry on a lot of burdens. We carry on the weight of the world. We carry the weight of the families. We carry a weight of working and just balancing everything. And I'm not taking away anything from you men folk. You guys do a lot. We get it, but
We take the garbage out.
yeah, you
We
take the
take the
garbage
garbage out
out
and we mow the
sometimes,
lawn.
and you do that really well. We appreciate it. Um, but I do feel like as women, we're just like, oh fuck, I can't do that. I can't take 3 days out of my life and get on the trail. I can't train for a year. I can't do that. And I want to say yes, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And it doesn't always
I
have to look perfect either. I
no.
think life gets in the way. Life happens, and sometimes there are various seasons of life. Like my training cycle this time didn't look the same as it did when I trained for the cut, but you do the best that you can with what you got sometimes. And if it, I'd rather do it and try than not have done it at all. It's sort of one of those things. And I think it's just you don't know what you're able to do until you just try
So was
it.
there
So I agree with that. Yeah.
a moment, did you have a switch between, I don't know if I can do this, perhaps before your first 100 at Virgil Crest, to, did you switch from, I have no idea whether I can do this to, I've done all the training, yes, I can do this? Or did it only happen when you actually did it that you thought, oh, yeah, I can do this? You know what I mean? I mean, how much time were you in the phase of, I don't even know if I can do this? Like, I'm training for this, but I don't know if I actually can do it.
So Cherie and I think, have two very different. This is why I love training with Cherie. I love running with Cherie. She has got the brain that if she gets on that trail and she starts something, she's gonna finish. I remember Art asking us at the very end of the race, was there any doubt that you were gonna finish this? And as Cherie was saying no, I was saying yeah. She is just one of those people that like she gets out, she plans, she's got books, she's got spreadsheets, and I'm kind of the willy-nilly like, woo, I'm here, let's do this.
Interesting.
And
Huh.
there were for me for the our first 100 for Virgil Crest, I think I felt more comfortable knowing that I was going to finish that one than I did the cut because the cut is very different. Um, And again, it was Cherie, like with the cut, it was with Virgil Crest, we decided we weren't necessarily gonna run together. We were gonna run, we trained together and we did all this stuff together. But with the cut, I was going through a lot of stuff in my life, and I told Cherie at one point, I'm gonna have to just run with you. So if I'm gonna finish this, I've got to run with you. And we did. So I hope you don't mind. I am going to share this story. I know some people know this story and some people don't, but leading up to the cut, the April before the cut, my daughter was hospitalized with an eating disorder. And she, it was a very difficult time. And I mean, this is April before June that we had put all this training in, and all of a sudden it was like my whole world was upside down, and we were going to the hospital every day. She was looking for a residential facility. I mean, everything, my whole world was collapsing, and I didn't know if I was going to run. I didn't. And it all was kind of contingent on like whether or not where she was at the time. I mean, there was one run we had dropped cars off, and Brian Rock Priori was going to pick us up and drive us to the start. We had a lot of people helping us with this whole trip, like drop us off one place, bring us another place so we could do a longer distance. And in the middle of that run, I got a phone call. My daughter had been placed in a residential facility and was not doing well, and we needed to pick her up and bring her to the hospital. So here I am, like about to get on the trail, and I'm like, nope, I gotta go. And I had to abort that training and go pick her up and bring her back to the hospital. And so I didn't know if I was gonna finish. I emotionally was wrecked. And Sarah she was gonna be part of my crew. She's always been my like right-hand person. So I didn't know if I wanted to do it without her. But what we ended up planning was it was like every aid station, if not every other aid station, she was on the phone. So I would run through an aid station and someone would hand me the phone and there was Sarah from the hospital. And it's one of my favorite moments of the cut. And again, not a lot of people know this story. This is something that I haven't shared with a ton of people. They just know, oh, Jillian's finished the cut. Well, this is what was happening during the cut. And so leading up to the cut, when this was happening, I looked at Cherie and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't think I'd get this emotional, but I told her, I'm like, I can't do this without you. And so we ran the whole thing together and finished together. And I think that's one of the driving things another driving reason with this post. Because as women together, we can do this. And even if like I didn't have the strength, I had to lean on Cherie. I still finished the cut, So like I know that any woman could do it. You just have to train. And if shit hits the fan with your family, we just pull together and help each other through it. And then you can be successful. And not for nothing, you ask Sarah, like she's always been so proud of me for that accomplishment, as I am of her for recovering and doing her own version of the cut, if you will, So.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing that. That's incredibly touching and motivating, Yeah. To imagine pushing through despite one could have easily said, yeah, this is not the time for me, but
right.
Yeah.
Well, we had those conversations and I felt bad. I pushed a little bit, but we had been through a lot of this training together and talked through all of what was going on. You know how you just share so much stuff on the trails, right? And I said to her at one time, I'm like, because Virgil Crest, like she said, we kind of separated. We decided we weren't necessarily going to, one person could go ahead if you're having a good whatever.
We had a breakup plan. That's what we called it.
Yeah, we had a breakup plan. And so for this, I said, she was considering not doing it. And I said, you know what? I think you need to do it though. I think you need to do it for you, Sarah had done training runs with us too. I think you do need to do it for yourself and for her, and just stay with me. Like we stay together. Like just we'll decide to stay together and get through it together. Um, and we lean on each other. And so I pushed her a little bit in that way, but I think, you think you need to sometimes. And I think it's what you guys needed.
I
Um,
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so
yeah.
grateful.
Oh my gosh, Jillian, I gotta just say, what that's just an amazing story, and just if you think about most people running, when running for people who haven't run that distance, or you know been in an event like that, um, lots of times your mind is trying to find reasons not to run, right? Like, I just need a good excuse, right? I just need I just need a reason not to do this, just like, and that's incredible that you were able to stay focused on that, and do that. That's just a wonderful. I'm blown away. I don't even know what to say here, but that except to say that you know, that's even more impressive that you did that. And I think for people listening, if you can do it under those circumstances, um, in a responsible way, I mean,
Yeah.
in the most loving way to your family. Like, lots of people can, run away from their family, but clearly that's not the situation here. But you did that, for yourself, so that is just so impressive. I do a lot of events like this, and never, anytime that I lined up for the cut, I was never sure that I was going to finish. I mean, I couldn't really comprehend finishing, so just taking it a step at a time always seemed to be the best bet for me. But, um, that's, again, congratulations on that. So,
Thank you. It was because I had Sherry. So again,
yeah,
this all goes back to
You did it.
we need each other,
I
and
supported you.
yes,
support is
yes.
good.
Yes.
So support is good.
Yeah.
Were you
Great.
were you two very close before you started, or did this just, balloon your friendship in a way that it would just, because you spent so much time together, training? Did you have
Yeah.
that relationship before you started, or did it change your relationship?
Well, we trained, so we started running together before the pandemic, and we were training together for Many on the Jenny because I was turning 40 and this was like a 40-mile race, and I don't remember exactly what
Well,
it
I
was.
was training for the Bull Run 50
Oh,
miler.
that's right.
And when it, but we were trained, she was doing so many training runs with me. And
Yeah.
then when the pandemic rolled along and everything was canceled, I said, well, you've done all these training runs with me. Why don't we just do it together and we'll run the whole Schnipsit, and that can be our Bull Run Schnipsit edition. So
But
that's
Sherry, do
where
you remember like what it was that like how did we get to running
it
together?
started.
Do you remember? I don't remember.
Yeah.
We just
I don't
started
know. We
running.
were
I don't
just
know. I
doing,
feel like we
yeah,
were
we were
training for
just in the
something
Striders
together,
and doing
or
group
I don't know.
social runs with the Striders. And yeah,
And
I'd
you
have to think
found
about the answer
yourself to
to
be
that.
compatible, like
Yeah,
running partners. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And then once you're compatible running partners, I think part of being compatible running partners is you have to be friends, And
Yeah.
so like we were each other's, confidants. You share everything on the trail. And like she lived
Yeah.
all of those experiences with me. I mean, like I said, like I would get phone calls on the trail with news and updates and things happening. And Sarah had run with us beforehand. So she had seen kind of the um, transitions, I guess, if you will, or stages of what Sarah was going through. Um, so I guess to answer your question, we were good friends before that, but we were the greatest of friends after. So for sure.
Yeah. That makes me wonder, and Art, you might know the answer to this, having seen all the cuts, like how many people lock in together, either intentionally or
Mm.
they just end up together. Because I'm thinking of, I've paced Michael 2 times. He's had 3 pacers. That's one way to do it, obviously. Or maybe you just sync up with a partner, and that works too. Like, what do you? And they're going through exactly what you're going through. Like, not
Yeah,
that what is
yeah.
better, but it just seems like a different experience.
I think I've seen it done all different ways. I know the first year Jordan Grande and I ran it together. The second year, Stacy Clark, Jordan, um, and oh my gosh, I and Sean, thank you. Sorry, Sean. And I ran it together. The four of us ran it together, and one other person ran it solo. And then the next year, actually, Stacy ran with Mike Dolan. They
Yeah, I
ran
remember
side by
that too.
side, kind of pushing each other a little bit, and kind of helping each other along. So I've seen people, run solo or sometimes, but that support crew is generally there. That seems to be an important thing. If you look at some of the older, not the older crews, but the OG crews there, that would be like Mission Fitness, the Baker Boys, all the different people, Justin and all the other people from Mission Fitness. They kind of all work together and have a really good culture. This year we saw Stitch and Benny run most of the race together. So I think that, the idea, what is it? If you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run far,
Go together.
go together, something like that. Yeah. So, I definitely see that on the cut, but I think that people do have the breaking up conversation too, so you do have a plan, because
Right.
that never hurts. So long answer, but, so
Yeah.
that's what I've seen.
No, it's definitely a complicated calculus, including training runs where I'm just speaking for myself. Like, if I want to do something and I want to do it the way it will work for me, the best way to do that is probably to do it by myself. Does that make sense? Because otherwise I will feel, badly if I'm whatever, not fast enough or what, feeling badly. But if, I don't know. So it's kind of tricky. But I'm inspired that you were able to band together, Jillian and Cherie, and that completely made a difference in your ability to complete it, perhaps perform and all that.
Well, and I think that's an important thing to note too, is like, I mean, like, I know, again, I'm referencing Sarah Connor, but she reached out and she's planning on doing it herself. She wants to do it unsupported. She wants to get the FKT. And I'm like, sweet, awesome. Be a part of this group, and we are going to support you by not supporting you in doing this. And I think I welcome anyone who know yourself, figure it out. You might go out there and start training with us and think, you know what? No way, Jose. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do this by myself. Or, you know what? I need the camaraderie. Whatever works for you, like you sort it out. You figure it out, and every race is going to be different too. Like that one, I needed Cherie. Maybe this time I'll find myself alone and being like, okay, this is cool too. So, I mean, I think I welcome everything, I guess. And
Yeah.
I think, no judgment. You
Right.
show up the way you are, and we welcome you and love you and support you or not support you, whatever you want.
But there's also the plus of accountability. Like, I know when I write to someone and I say, "Hey, do you want to do this thing?" That's because I know that I probably won't do it unless they do it with me. And that's very important to just know that people are showing up. And like, if you said you were showing up, you're more likely to show up
Right.
and do that
That's
thing.
the nice thing about having a plan. And if we have a group and if you say, okay, this is happening on this day, we're going to park here, we're going to meet here, drop cars, whatever. Somebody's going to bring extra snacks halfway through. Like you have a plan that gives people something they can actually do. And then there's support there to do that. I mean, that's the way I kind of envision what we're doing, what
Mhm.
we be looking to do is make it easy for people to get the runs in, and then
Mhm.
even whatever it takes, if like I don't know, we could have a play date group, like okay, how many people have kids that need to sort of have an eye on them. Okay, we're gonna we're going to do a field trip. While you guys run the trail, we'll do a field trip. Like, come up with some ways to like really make an impact on some of those things that are challenges to some people. And, kids and childcare tend to be one of those things. So anything that we can brainstorm to do to set up real tangible schedules or events or something like that, I think that would be really cool to help people, to help women get out and do something they'd otherwise have a really big challenge doing.
So have you really concretely thought about things at this point? It's very early, so it's totally cool if you haven't. I'm just curious if you've talked with others about, or between you two of you, about what you envision components of this. You've just mentioned, training runs, obviously, making it easier for others to do training runs. Is there anything else that, you envision as part of this group? Like the Facebook group support,
Yeah, so I mean, have we talked about it yet? You're right. It's been a week, right?
right. I'm not expecting any
where's the
grand
plan?
Gantt chart for this or something.
Cherie and I have talked about it, and we've gone back and forth with these. I mean, we kind of know, like, what do we need to do to support this? Well, we need to have, like you said, accountability. So that's why I thought about the see you next Tuesday thing. Like, okay, we can post every Tuesday night. Like, okay, we did this. I did this. I hit the Stairmaster this day, just something to, have that accountability aspect. And then Cherie talked about, and then, yes, when it comes down to it, or when we get closer, we talked about having some ideas. We're like having like a startup party, maybe in January where, okay, we're officially going to start this, and then having weekly training runs. And if you do need childcare, like I love kids, my kids are now all adults. And so, yeah, I would not mind like running the trail during the week or finding some other time doing it and helping support and watch kids. Well, you guys or someone else does it. We also talked about, Michael Filipresti reached out and mentioned a couple ideas, and he's like, I'd finish it twice. I would be willing to like do a Q&A and things like that. So we have a lot of like ideas just kind of out there, they're not solid yet, but they're solid-ish. They're like Jell-O at this point. Yeah. Jell-O.
Well, it's really early to make a plan, to make a plan for next January. That sounds very concrete for the time that we're in.
Well, I think it helps that Cherie and I've done this before, so we know, and we did it successfully. So we know, like, what helped us was being out on the trail. Like Cherie said, we were out there. We planned it. We did runs. We did sections that we knew we were going to do at night in the dark. We did sections, at certain times. We'd go out in the heat. We did the things that we needed to do. We were very methodic about it. So we've done this before, and that's something that we can bring to the table. Like, we've done this before. We've trained. We know how to do it. We will help and do this with you and help bring you to that starting line and the finish line.
That's so powerful. The fact that you guys have the history of doing this yourself, so you've already practiced what you're preaching. So with this run, it was very hard to try to determine how difficult it is, because I don't really know. I had really no idea. I know how long it took me to do it, but that didn't really mean that much. And lots of times, as you mentioned, I did it with a large group of people. So, that probably took a little bit longer, and, weather of different weekends and different things like that can really impact it. But the thing that I think that you guys proved, and that Mira proved, and that a few other runners that I've seen out there over the years, is that it's a different. Sometimes it seems like it might be a different skill set to finish the cut. Because you're not dealing with a hard cutoff that's a very difficult one to make generally, I would think, right? It's more like, you're either going to live or you're going to die, or you're going to, and the only way you're going to die for the most part is if you stop running,
Right.
um, or certainly things can happen, right? I mean, we saw people break toes this year and some other things like that, but most of the time it's it's not wanting to not wanting to keep moving, uh, to finish, so it's a lot of, this is just a huge um, mental journey, to finish it. So, um,
I think I'm the only person who has not done the cut, right? And
in the world,
I haven't done 100 miles. The longest I've done is 54 miles. So I'm like your candidate here because I have questions in my mind about training for this. I love those trails. I would be super psyched to do those trails. But I'm just curious to hear, just from like a physical kind of training perspective, when you trained for 6 months, like how did you find, and this could go for probably any 100 miler, but this is a little bit perhaps tough than some. Like how did you aside from the emotional stuff going on, like how did you experience that? Were you kind of sick of running toward the end, or were you just so motivated toward the goal that you, whatever time it took, or like boredom you had with just, oh, I have to get up and do this thing, like just how was the experience of actually training for it, day to day? Does that make sense, that question? Hopefully.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
well,
great question.
I think having that plan, like, so you're not just going and running the same thing over and over and over. I mean, like you do your kind of daily runs, your weekly things. Like, I mean, for us, a lot of times it's Tuesdays, hills with the Striders. You had certain things you had to do during the week, your kind of maintenance runs, but then having that weekend, knowing you're going to do a different trail, like to me,
It's
I
exciting.
enjoy the training part a lot of the time. You're
Oh my
like,
gosh, I
oh,
think
I'm
the
going to miss
training
the
part is
training
almost more
actually.
fun than the race. It
Yeah.
That's
really
what you
is.
that's your t-shirt. The
Yes.
training is more important now.
It is because we would go out there and we would do every section, and it never got boring
Yeah,
because
because it
Sherry's
was a
exactly
different
right. We
piece
would be
every
like, oh, we're
time.
doing this part next. Oh, we're doing this
Yeah.
part. Ooh, we're gonna do this part at night. Like, oh, we're gonna do this part this part. How are we gonna do it? It was like we would take the week kind of like, okay, get our people involved if we needed to, if we were gonna go point to point, we needed some rides, or if we were just gonna do it, and I would meet her at the end and she would drive me to the start. Whatever we did, that was the fun of it. It was the planning. It was
Yeah.
the idea of doing a different part of the trail, and then like being like Sherry said, we did the whole thing at least twice, if not three times. And there were sections that were trickier, and we're like, okay, we're gonna do that again. Okay, that part was a little tricky. Let's try it again. And
Like what
Yeah.
what area would you say you had to try again? Like maybe coming out of Ragged, coming down the chimney?
Um,
we did
no,
that
there were
part at night.
spots. I think there were spots in the northern section that, like, some people have kind of missed before. You come out of, and now I haven't done some sections in a while, so my memory's a little rusty.
Terrafil?
Yes, in Terrafil, where
I
you
had
got it's
somebody got
overgrown
lost
and
there. Oh yeah. We
get
know that
into the
somebody got
wood, like just, or even like before that section, it's like, well, you kind of get to choose your own adventure. Like if you keep going this way where probably the trail used to go, you could
mm,
go straight and be like 5 miles out of the way, or now the trail cuts to the right and you've got to head down instead of that, and you got to watch the blazes. Well, this tree there, you kind of know, you get to a sense of where the blazes might be a
oh,
little more faint.
Hmm.
um we did Menunketuk at night, which was helpful because, and I think they've since reblazed that. When we were training, they reblazed since then. So you kind of had to know where the tricky blazes were that kind of looked green instead of blue. So it was
sure.
getting to intimately know the trail and the actual markers and what they might look like in those sections. So that like really kept us like do that learning process. I think kept it from getting stale. I mean, I will say when we were done, I was like, okay, I can really take a break from these trails for a while. I was like, I want to go do something else, somewhere different. But we didn't get bored while we were training. I think it was
Yeah.
fun having that sort of like, what are we doing next weekend? Okay, let's do this one next. And
Yeah.
Well, no, that's a great point. That's unique to this race because, well, some of us live close enough and we live in a small state, so we can
Mhm.
do these things without driving, much more than an hour, right?
Mhm.
So, I appreciate that. Like perhaps I'm remembering times when I just had to do something and it was blank miles and I wasn't going to a specific place to do it that I knew had some relevance to the actual event. So this is like that's a really good point. I really I'm excited to hear that because I think that will excite others. And I have to tell you, since I just did them in Unketuk, that the blazes are actually not that great. Still, so, I mean, you definitely have to like look around many
Mhm.
times.
Yeah. I think that's part of the training though. So
Yeah,
training goes far beyond just the physical training, right? It's the craft, training of the craft, like, working on your hydration, fueling, and then knowing how to, if you naturally can get in the rhythm of looking up, seeing the blaze, running to it, hitting that blaze, looking up, seeing the next one. If that's second nature to you, it becomes so much easier, as compared to, the phone calls that I get in the middle of the night during the cut where somebody will call me up and say, "Oh, I'm over here somewhere," and well, where's the blue blaze? I don't know, or
Mhm.
it's blue and red now,
Yeah.
so
That's where I felt like for me, I feel extremely adept at following the blue blazes. Like I am so trained to look for them.
mm.
Like and I've done a lot of pacing now of people through the cut. And I'm not the most fun pacer, but like I will get you where you
I
need
didn't
to
hear that.
go.
Yeah. So that's great. I mean, I think those things all help, right? I mean, I kind of, as somebody who's getting up there in years for an ultra runner, I kind of all these little things that I can do to help myself are just huge, like making sure that I stay on the trail, so that when I was faster, maybe I could afford to get off trail and, run my way back on, but now I don't know. I like to avoid the bonus miles sometimes. So,
And I think, oh, sorry.
no, you go. Go.
But one thing I know, yes, I guess I am just fixated on this whole women's thing, obviously. But one thing that I think about like doing with this group is there's certain things that women, or at least I struggle with, that's different than just a common, we listen to podcasts and we do this and stuff, but like I have yet to find a decent sports bra that doesn't leave me like bleeding chafed, and things like that. There's still not great women's underwear, running underwear out there. Like I know this is all, and like there's just not good like shoes and women's feet are different, and like we're just built differently. And so like I love the idea also of having a place where we can be like, okay, oh, I'm chafing here. I'm doing this. I don't understand this part or what's going on with me, And like Sherry said, like we're just at the stage of our lives where like our bodies are also fundamentally changing. So like I ran Notch View last summer and the heat killed me. Like I finished
mm,
it. I did the 100 miles, but I was throwing up and the heat's never bothered me. But now I'm at this beautiful age where weird things bother me now. So like these are kind of the conversations I'd like to have this platform for so we can talk about, some of these things that make running more difficult for us, specifically women, you know.
That was going to be one of my topics because when you mentioned the perimenopause thing, and we kind of like briefly talked about it, I think, Art, when we talked to Ellie, but that, you reach like your kids are older, let's just say when you're 40, 45 or something like that, or like whatever, something around then. But then at that moment that you have more free time because your kids are older, all of a sudden you're really tired. I don't know if you noticed, but I took off this shirt while we were talking. You're having all these like wacky sleep problems because you're so hot all the time.
Your
And
joints hurt.
I don't have that, but like
Oh.
I feel like the last 2 races I did, I felt horrible. And I can completely pinpoint it on, I'm going to blame it on that. Okay. I'm just going to blame it on that. Maybe it's not that, but like you're adapting to just things you can't control. So I don't know, for speaking just for myself, I'm like a little scared to do certain things right now because of how I'm feeling.
Mhm.
And I'm sure I'm not alone, but maybe you just have to decide, like, I don't care how I feel. I'll just suffer through it and see what happens. Yeah. So it's just I just noting that like now I'm at a point perhaps where I have more free time, but I'm also facing this little shifting problem, which will end at some point, but who knows when. So,
or we'll get used to it and then something else will happen. That's
yeah. Sorry, Art.
No, not at all. No,
I'm sure you've seen this, so you know what we're talking about. But.
Absolutely.
no, and you're right. And so these are the things I'd like to talk about. I mean, I know with me, and so I'm turning 46. I'm in the throes of perimenopause. I also I was on Sarah's weight restoration diet when she got out of the hospital. So I am X number of pounds heavier than I've ever been, and I'm not going to lose it because I'm on Sarah's weight restoration diet. Like that's just the way my body is going to be now. But I run differently. Like the last 4 years, I am like, I run differently. I wear different size clothing. I mean, all these things are different. And so, but I still ran 100 miles last summer. Like I know I can still do it. And I guess again, I go back to this. I'm like, women are incredible. We are like resilient creatures. And it's like, oh, do I need to gain 30 pounds so I can and not care about what I eat anymore for the rest of my life? I guess that's what I'm doing now because we do whatever it takes to support our kids, right? And because we're that resilient, because we do things to support other people, we need to also do that for us. We need to take that resilience, we need to take that tenacity, that whatever, that grit that we have for our families, for the people that we love, and bring it to us and be like, you know what, I can do this. And even with these fundamentally different bodies, even though I'm going to wake up and it's 40 degrees outside and I'm sweating bullets or, whatever it is, it's life, but let's just enjoy the journey, even if it sucks. Can we do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially together, right?
Especially together.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. So you mentioned, I know you mentioned, I was just curious, when you did talk about some like really memorable moments having done the cut, with the phone calls and everything. And are there any like specific moments in time that that you remember so distinctly? Like you saw a snake or, just sort of some fun stories that you have about your time on the cut that might pique the interest of people. It's been a while, I guess, but.
Well, I always remember, because I just went back and re-listened to our episode, but I will never forget seeing this little crab. It's a crab.
Oh,
I don't know how we got there in that field, like on the Mononkatuk, you go through that big field, and there was a little crab in the middle of the trail, and it's just kind of, why are you here? And it was not a hallucination.
It wasn't. We all saw it. And I was like, maybe we're close to the water. And someone was like, you're not close to the water. I'm like, but the crab.
How we got there.
And you've participated in the cut as like crew and pacer, I believe, right? What have you, can you describe what you've been doing and how you experience that? And that's like something that's so cool, Art, about the cut is just the experience of everybody else who is not running it. It's incredible to like be looking at your phone to see what pictures you see, where people are. You're following the posts of people who are reporting to, I at one point I had a little aid station at Stagecoach Road, to pacing the couple of times I've done it, which have been amazing experiences with like a team. I don't know. It's so fun to be part of a team. And this is like a big team. It's not just a team per runner. It's like everybody's on the team. It's very cool.
Mm.
So I was just curious, Jillian and Cherie, if you could like talk about your experiences, not running it, but being a part of it.
Yeah, so I think we've both been doing quite a bit of the last couple years. So I've helped I've paced Ross several times through I'm his ragged pacer. So anytime he's got to go through ragged mountain, I've been there to pace him for that in his first attempt at his double cut. So when he was going north, and then last year on his legs when he went north and south, did his double cut. I've been part, I mean, it's such a long event for that. So I've been part of his crew and pacers. And then Jackie and I, or Jillian and I were on Jackie's crew, so crewed and paced her 2 years ago. And then Becky and Amy, we paced and crewed them. And then just like to help Art out, like if he needs some help here or there, I'm just like, whatever you need me to do. Like I think the butt
And
two
he
years
always needs a
ago.
lot of help.
I think I got to start because Justin Kowski was so fast and Art
Yes,
had to go to the finish. I started off the runners for the butt two
Yeah.
years ago.
that's right.
But I
that was
feel
a
like it's
huge
like a
help.
special thing, and any way I can help or be involved, it's like my favorite weekend of the year.
Mm.
It is a great weekend, and I know like it always falls on Trails Day, and
Hmm.
I'm always in these meetings, and they're like, "What are we gonna do for Trails Day?" I'm like, "I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna be at the cut," you know.
That's right.
Um, I love pacing for the cut because and crewing. I love being on that side of it. For so many reasons. One, because when we did it, Sherry and I did it together, but we had a ton of help. Like I remember Sherry put it out there like, "Hey, does anyone want to just come pace us?" And the nice thing about us knowing the course so well, we had pacers that didn't know the course at all, but they were just there to kind of help us and be there and talk to us. And some we didn't know, some we knew really well, and it was incredible. So it is one of those communities that you just always want to give back to. So yeah, we've been there. I think we've been there every year. Sherry is more dedicated than I am. She takes the Friday off and she doesn't sleep for 3 days like you are, I'm just
I
see
gotta
you guys in the
say, hold
morning.
it. Let's call a timeout here. So, yeah, the first night I slept like probably 10 minutes or something like that.
Oh, that's a
The
good time.
sec
Okay.
the second night I got more sleep than that. But Sherry, now I did that like sitting around, standing around, pacing, getting in my car, like that's kind of what the stuff I was doing. Sherry was like pacing people, was like chasing down runners who were lost, um, doing math problems and like communicating with people. And I just got to the point like very quickly where my brain just got shot and I couldn't do anything, but I was still awake. So Sherry was like over the top, like for lack of sleep and
Well, I'm sure there were plenty of people doing the same thing I was doing for their runners
I
and stuff, though.
they were, but not as much as you were. So I have
Well,
to say,
Sherry does. She
you
gives
you
a lot
probably
to.
you were definitely in the running for MVP, no doubt. So most valuable pacer. So
Oh, 100%. But it is
yeah,
it's interesting pacing and crewing because you see um what people are doing well and you're just like, "Oh yeah, that's really good," mental note. And then you kind of see some people that you're just like, I would do that a little differently.
yes,
And you keep some thoughts to yourself. Sometimes you say things out loud, but um it's just such a unique race where, but having said that, we have seen some crazy people come out there with like no water, Jeff this year, right? No water, no idea what he's doing, and he freaking finishes it, really well. Not that he didn't know what he was doing, but some people go out there and they, they don't have as much of a um plan and then they do really well, and some people go out there and they don't have much of a plan and they don't do really well.
hmm
And the nice thing about going out there every year is we've seen it all, and it's an epic time,
yeah, it is. And
like There's nothing like it.
Yeah, one thing just to mention. So the first year we had, there were just two of us running, and we had over 20 people who came out and either crewed and or paced. So 20 people, so it's certainly grown every year since then. So, it's always been a great community. It's my favorite weekend of the year as well. So,
Did you
it's
know?
just so much fun.
Did you know, Art, that it was going to turn into this big thing? Like at what point? What year did you realize this is turning into a thing? Like how did that evolution happen?
Once we started the podcast, I knew that.
Okay.
Because before that, I ran into Sean Greeny at the Vermont 100, and I think I told the story when we when we had Amy Rusecki on the podcast. But we traded stories in the campground the night before the Vermont 100, and I told Sean, though, I said, you know what, I've done this twice, and you know what, and kind of established the route here, but like I just don't know if I'm like, with my organizational skills and stuff, I don't know if I'm the right guy to do this job. There's probably like other people who, professionally as a manager, I was fucking horrible. I was just a really bad manager. So, so I was really doubting myself, and he kind of said, listen, man, whatever you're doing, it's certainly good enough, and it's been good. So keep it, I think, he told me, I think you can do this. So I think you should do this. So, so I owe some to Sean for that. And then, I don't know, then it just kind of got a life of its own, it's really just like, the people who are involved with it, most of the time now it's like people already know what they're going to do there. I kind of feel like in a lot of ways, I'm really not even necessary, which is my goal, is to make it so that like I give a speech in the beginning, which people could certainly run without that. But, all I do is just make sure that people don't sleep, and try to keep track of where people are, to help them out, and to mentor, offer mentoring to the crews, So, but besides that, it's really the people who show up there that make this whole thing happen and keep the vibe going. So.
I was going to ask you what your vetting process typically is, but then I was thinking, oh, with this training group, you'll know, if they've gone through this training group, they're prepared.
Yeah.
It'll be really helpful for you to know, right? I mean,
yeah.
You don't have such visibility maybe with like individuals. But.
A lot of races have something where they'll say, okay, you have to have done X, you have, Western States, you must run one of these qualifying races in order to get into Western States. And that proves to us that you're capable of doing this, and blah, 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 or other races, you have to finish these in a certain amount of time or whatever. I kind of throw that all out, and I look at it and I say, tell me a story, tell me some of the epic shit that you've done that lets me know that I'm not going to have to come and pick your sorry ass up in the woods in the middle of the night. So, I've had Mike Dolan's a perfect example. He hadn't run 100 miles before. He had done, maybe he'd done a 50K somewhere, but he ran Boston in 2:45. So it showed me that he was in shape, and he was in the service. So I knew he had discipline, and he was a boxer, so he could take a punch. And I kind of put all those things together, and I said, yeah, you know what? That's not a Western States qualifier, but I think that gives you a good shot, So, and I've had many things like that. I've had people who have said, who said, I think I can come and grind out this course,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think I'm bringing to the, that's how I plan on trying to get this done, and, so I've heard stories that people that, traditionally you might not think on paper that they have what it takes to do something like this. But when they go and they try it, they either come very close and get it done, or sometimes they even fail. But it's I think it's a reasonable fail, So, and then they walk away with it with like a lot of knowledge, So I had, I'm not going to mention names, but there was somebody who DNF'd this year that, on paper he didn't have it going in, but he had a lot of those other intangibles that he brought with him. So he had in big air quotes, a good time, He learned a lot, and he was just floored by it. It was an amazing experience for him, because that's the thing about, doing races like this or runs like this, is that you don't know if you're going to finish. Most of us, a lot of us don't know if you're going to finish. There's people I've thought, people who've done 160 races, never DNF'd, and showed up at the cut and DNF'd,
Mm-hmm.
So you never know, but they, everybody, what if you either win or learn, so it's good either way, as long as I think that, you've got like a reasonable chance here, then I'm fine with it, and there are no guarantees. That's the thing about this, is that there are no guarantees, so,
How often are you surprised by what happens with individuals? Like, is it just you don't even think about what will happen because you have no idea what will happen,
because you don't know, because I've seen there's people that I think are gonna, are gonna just completely kick everybody's ass, and it doesn't happen, and even people halfway through the race, I'm like, well, this one's settled, and it's not at all. So you never know how it's going to go. So, and then, I didn't know if the cut was a course for people who are going to just go out and grind, somebody who can just go out and, just be a little bit relentless. I didn't know if that was really, if that was a way to do it, but I think it is, so if you study up at the course and you're just relentless forward progress, and granted that the weather, and hopefully it's not like a 95 degree day, then I think, you can have a good reasonable chance of, with a good crew, you have a good chance of finishing this. So, that's what I would say, is that don't, I know there's a couple people that I've talked to about doing the cut so many times, so especially some women that I just know are super strong that could do this. And I know it in my heart 100% that they would have a very, very good chance. And, I don't think that you're ever going to, like, you're never going to know 100% until you try. So, I've tried to talk to those people, and maybe they will come around, maybe they will come out and do it sometime. So, and I hope they do, because, I know the first time I ran 100, I didn't think I could, I don't know. I don't think as many people were running them at the time, but I didn't think that it was something that I could do, but I just kind of like did a timed race, and it just kind of happened because I followed my process. If you keep running, if you keep running, the miles add up, and maybe, and you get 100 miles. So,
yeah. How much do you want or not want people to kind of spread the word for, non-locals? Like, I feel like it's such a cool event, it really should generate a lot of interest from people from, Massachusetts, whatever. Like, it just doesn't seem like there's that much geographic diversity. And I wonder why, because it's so amazing. Like, the concept.
We go through spurts with that. I've had people from the West Coast come out to run, people from all over, but, I'm kind of okay with that, because like, I kind of go back and forth with that, because like on one hand, it's not really, I don't want to promote it too much, just because it's got to stay under the radar. Otherwise,
yeah,
it's not going to happen, So, It's a thing that's out there, and if you hear about it and you want to do it, great. I don't want it to be the biggest race ever or the biggest thing, and all that. I'd much rather have it kind of exactly the way it is right now, but with more women running it. It's something that I felt like I tried, but I don't really, from my standpoint, I can't, I feel like I don't have a lot of control over that. And maybe I do, and I just don't realize it. But that's part of tonight's conversation too, is that I'd like to know if you guys think there's something that I should be, that as a, not a race director, but as somebody who's organizing something like this, what they might try to do to get more women to run, if there's anything unique or basic or something that we're not doing, like is talking about it being a tough event. Is that a bad thing to do, or is that,
I don't think that's, I mean,
what's the
because we
deal?
don't want to be dishonest and be like, hey guys, it's really easy. Everyone should
Yeah.
do it, But I think for all the reasons, and I don't know, or if it's anything that you're doing, I don't think it is. I think that, um, I, I mean, women athletes, this is not just a cut problem,
Hmm.
this is throughout everything. And I know Cherie was going to talk about her experience with the Sheestern states, is that what it's called?
Yes.
And because that group, it was, if I understand correctly, was developed for the same reason. There's not a lot of women presented on the trails, and as evidenced by this last the Cadona 250.
Cocodona, yeah.
Cocodona, thank you. I
Hmm.
mean, obviously we we can do it. We can win.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or it's not that we're not capable. So I don't know what the exact reasons are, but I think it's for all the things that we've just talked about. I think it's um the weight of the world, the weight of the family, feeling like maybe we can't get out there for that long distance. Maybe it is something that because it's such a tough thing that we feel like we can't do. Um, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if there's one single thing, but I think that's why at least that's what I'm trying to do this because
Mm.
I think that whatever it is, it doesn't need to be this way, In
Yeah.
fact,
Yeah.
it should be more even. And and I've noticed this, and as evidenced by the 250 race, like the longer the race, the more evenly matched women and men are.
Hmm.
So I love that. So I don't know what the reason is, but whatever the reason is, we're trying to combat it.
Well, I think you're saying a while back, you're not, I mean, I don't think you're ordinary, but you're normal people and you did it. Like having heard that, and if that's, conveyed enough times in that Facebook group, like that will seep in and people will realize I just need to do the things that Jillian and Cherie say I should do, and then I'll be okay. Having the plan, like concrete, very concrete. And hearing you say that you did the sections up to 3 times, I mean, I know people who've trained for the cut, and I don't think they were doing that, but yeah, why not do that? I mean, you're going to be so much better off if you've experienced those sections and different like conditions and all that. Um, so yeah, I think that's a huge moment to just to convey that obviously you need a running background, you need to be comfortable on trails, you need to probably have some distance in your background, but yeah, it's totally possible if you just put in like the time, and it'll be a lot easier to put in the time if we have guideposts to look at. I was going to ask you guys in this, I think you've sort of implied how this might have happened, but how did finishing the cut under the circumstances that you did, including like these emotional circumstances, how did that change the way you saw yourself? Like, could you describe how you felt when you finished, like, and how that made you feel afterwards? I'm sure you had a lot of adrenaline and for a long time, but like, what was the feeling of having done it and realizing, what did that say about you to yourself or to others?
I, at that moment, I realized I could do anything. I could do anything if I just wanted to do it. Like that's all it took. It just takes me wanting to do something. Like I hope this doesn't sound hokey or cheesy or whatever, but I think we as people, as humans, I mean, if we want to do something enough, we can do it. Like I felt, I
Mm.
don't want to say invincible, but I felt like, okay, I can take on anything, including this super emotional thing that's happening in my life, you know?
Mm.
Like if I can do this, I can do that. I can do this, I can do that. I mean life gives us a lot of lemons and yeah, I guess finishing the cut for me under those circumstances, I left knowing I could do anything. And again, I don't know how else to say this. I'm just Jillian. I'm just 46-year-old Jillian who,
Just
I'm a
Jillian.
special ed teacher. I have 3 kids. I've been divorced a couple times. I don't,
You're just Jillian, and there's that guy named Killian. So,
yeah,
he's
maybe
just
he's in there
Killian, you're
somewhere.
just Jillian.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't want to. Another T-shirt idea is just Jillian, but Jillian's the verb. Like just do it, but
Just
just
Jillian
Jillian,
it.
just
just
like
Jillian.
Netflix
Oh,
and Jillian.
well, it also
So,
you said the Jillian was like the word for the run, right?
Oh, the Jillian
Like
run. Yeah,
just
that's what
Jillian.
my
So
cross country
yeah,
team.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that all
just
works.
Jillian.
And Cherie, I'm sorry, we need a T-shirt for you too. So you have to tell how you have to tell us how you felt after you finished and how did that make you feel too, so we can come up with a T-shirt with your name on it too.
Oh, I don't know if I need a t-shirt, but it was just like it made you just feel so accomplished. Like we worked towards that for so long and to be done and know that you did something that is, I think, realized by other people as something really, really hard. It felt good. Like, wow, I did do that. And I did something that is recognized by other people as a hard thing to do. And and it gives you so much confidence in anything you're going to do in any other part of your life.
Yeah. And do you have did the two of you have some close goals or far off goals? I mean, I know you said you're doing Eastern states, Cherie. Like, how are you feeling about that? Do you and have after having done those training runs with Eastern states, like what's your hope and expectation for that?
Well, it's just to finish
Yeah.
and actually try to enjoy it a little bit because, like I said, the cut was it was 4 years since we ran the cut. And I mean, I'm older than Jillian. I'm 51 and a half. So, and my body's not the same either. It's so weird. And I don't feel like I've trained as much. I'm doing different things. About 2 years ago, I kind of traded some of my running workouts with weight training workouts and other kinds of like cross training stuff because I felt like I was doing too much running. I mean, I felt a kind of a little burned out at some point and I needed to make some shifts and some juggles around and I felt like that those were good trade-offs to make. But then I also feel guilty that I'm not running enough. You
See that guilt. What is that? Art, have you ever felt that way? Do you feel guilty
so I
for
feel
not
like it's
running
never
enough?
perfect.
uh,
Yeah.
y-
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess we all
I
feel
had just
that,
had
huh?
4 days off because I had like, I mean, we had family stuff to do, like memorial service stuff, and like I had to travel. And so like, and then my boss was yapping at me yesterday and I didn't get out in time to get to my workout class. And then I just like, I don't feel like running. So 4 days I didn't do anything. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to be for 4 days. But I'm like, whatever. Then I go, you know what? Whatever. You need a rest and a break sometime. And
Mhm.
somehow it's for good that maybe I didn't run for 4 days. Um, but I did like I was and we did this with Virgil Crest. I try to do it with each thing. is get on the trails. We took a weekend
Mhm.
for Virgil Crest. We went out there and we did like two different huge sections of the race course. And for me, like you said, how did you know during your training, like when you were comfortable that you felt like maybe you could finish it? And that's what helps me feel like I can finish something, is having some familiarity, is getting on the actual trails in the course if I can. So I went out and I ran the Heiner 50K, and that's when I went, oh shit. Like this is going to be really hard because the trails, I don't think, are any more technical than our trails here. Our trails are relentlessly death by paper cuts up and down, our hills.
Mm-hmm.
And we have so much rocks and roots, but the hills there are long, really long, which we're not used to. So really
Right.
long, steep. And I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be so much climbing, like so much climbing. So that was my wake up call. And then I signed up for the Eastern States, like I said. So again, just for people to be aware of. So this is an event, it's a weekend put together by, so the Eastern States 100 is put on, they formed, I think it's like a nonprofit, Eastern States, um, oh, I have to know. Eastern States Trail Ultra Association. Like they made like a nonprofit group for it. And the
Mm-hmm.
race director a couple years ago said, kind of the same thing here. Like there should be more women. Like there should be more women. And what can we do? What can we do? Like physically do, like we're doing here, is what can we actually do to get more women onto the trails? So they actually have Hoka sponsored, sponsors the event. They got a lot of sponsors, so
Hmm.
it's a weekend, Friday through Sunday. They get transportation. They took us out, and I did 50 miles of the course in that weekend. You get to meet other people. One way they look to get women onto the trails was they reached out to tons of different race directors, and they have a huge raffle, like races donated entries to races. And so it's literally a way to give a person an entry through a lottery, like through a raffle, and be able to go to a race and be representative on those trails and give people an opportunity. So we had women that were there this weekend. It was the end of April, that they did their longest runs during that weekend. So Thursday night was a night run. Friday was a 14-mile run. Saturday was the 20 longest run. And then, Sunday was kind of an optional. It was like an 8 or 10, a couple different distances. And what we did is we ran the last part of the course so that you could run into the finish
The
line to see
rattlesnakes.
where you'd be finished. So you could experience the finish line coming
Mm.
into Little Pine State Park, and to see what that's like. But there were and then they broke us into different pace groups throughout the weekend so that you weren't like me, I'm back of the packer. You weren't trying to keep up the whole time with your fast pack folks. So people had different groups, and they took us out in different waves throughout the days, and they had transportation. And then there's one family that did an aid station each day. They did a themed aid station, a jungle aid station the one day, and a Christmas in May, because I think it was May 1st that the second day. And it was a way to expose some women that wouldn't have gotten out and done that otherwise. It was to give an opportunity. So, and they provided meals, and it's held in this, it was a Christian camp at one point. So it was like a lodge with rooms with bunk beds and stuff like that. And so the fee was very, very reasonable for an entire weekend because it was subsidized by the Trail Association and the sponsors. So, we're doing that on a small scale, but I think it's really a good way to give people an opportunity, like to set up organized runs. If we can do shuttles, so you can do a big hunk of the run. Or, okay, if we're going to
Mm.
do something on a certain weekend and you need some childcare, let's try to figure that out. Like a way for us to support each other. I think it's like a really neat model to actually do something that makes a difference to get women's feet on those trails.
Yeah. And perhaps you'd have enough interest. I mean, not just hey, we're going to do this on a Sunday morning or whatever, but I think you could even get enough interest of people devoting like 2 days to, back to back, like having more what you describe, sort of shorter distances, but different places. And it's hard to commit a weekend, right? But maybe one weekend seems possible.
Yeah,
and fun and like
or
really
even having
fun.
like
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday, we're going to do the same runs, and whichever day you can make it so you don't miss out
Yeah.
on that distance or that section of trail. I think there's a lot of, opportunity for figuring out different strategies.
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel like that weekend, on being able to spend that weekend on the trail with other people. So that was the other thing. There were other women that had run the race, that had run Eastern States 100. So and two women that I roomed with had both run last year, but dropped at like mile 80. And so they're coming back this year for their second chance at it. So, being able to talk to people that have done that, it's really important, and it really gave me like a lot of motivation and a lot more confidence. Having a little bit of self-confidence issue this time through because I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm having doubts because I'm slower. But I figure I'm gonna just try to have fun, and if I get timed out and cut off, so be it. But I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna see.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had just been thinking, like, how much do cutoffs affect people's interest in signing up for things? Because if they're nervous, they're not going to make cutoffs. They don't want to sign up for the thing, Um, and the cut is unique, right? Well, I don't know, Art. Like, I know you have intermediate cutoffs. Do you feel like they're very reasonable for almost everybody? Like, how would you describe them?
The only time I have to say, I think most of the time, like the real cutoff is the 10 o'clock at Rogers Orchard. And do you guys remember how close were you? Was that a concern to you guys or no?
No, I mean, I remember, do you remember, Sherry? I remember running out of there and clicking my heels because we were so stoked. We got in there fairly early. It
Yeah,
was
I
still
think
light out, and I want to say maybe 5 p.m.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was like
No?
5:30.
Yep.
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it's not meant to be a hard cut. I just have that because I can't be at the next aid station. It's on private property, the next aid station. So I can't be there till 1 o'clock in the morning with that one, because it's literally somebody's driveway that they
Yeah.
let us set up in. So, so cutoffs aren't really a problem with the cut. I wouldn't say,
No, I think they're
the only,
reasonable and they're there for a reason. I mean, that's what reasonable means, I guess. But like I think they're they're needed for you. I mean, so we're not, I mean, because you could be out there forever. I mean, it's really
yeah.
hard. And there are people that are just like, I could go out here and be super slow, but that means that, they're out there till
And
Monday afternoon. You know.
yeah, there's a principle. I'm trying to remember what it's actually called, where the task expands to meet the deadline, you know? So yeah, lots of times I think people will take, if you have too long of a cutoff, they'll use every minute that they can of that, and that's fine. I mean, I get that. And you know what? I've done the same thing on occasion. So, but if you make it faster, then I think they'll go towards that. And that's not what our cutoff's about at all. Our only cutoff for this event is that you don't go to sleep, right? And then the race ends, just at a time so that you're not going to reasonably, I mean, it's a long time. Being awake for 45 hours is not an easy feat, right? And to be moving for that long. But I think any longer than that, I think it really starts to get crazy. So, I think that's a reasonable amount of time. If I could do it, in that amount of time with a bunch of people going inefficiently through the woods, on the hottest days that we've ever had, then I think that most people you know, can do that if they, if they choose to get out of aid stations in a reasonable amount of time. So,
Yeah.
I think that's an important thing to note too, is that those cutoffs they're reasonable, and but they also make I mean, the race is tricky, but you need a lot of strategy. And I think Cherie would agree with this. It's like you can't sit there through aid stations for a long, long time. You have to stay on
mm,
your feet. And like I know we didn't sit down at all. I think at one point I sat down to change my shoes
yeah.
at one point. But it's like because those cutoffs, because there are cutoffs, because it is, I mean, you can take a lot of time out there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
there's a strategy to it, There's a strategy to not sitting around in the aid stations, to keep moving and to keep moving quickly. I know, like when we trained, and this is also the wonderful thing about the cut and training for the cuts, and what you were talking about getting bored. You train in such a fundamentally different way for this race because you're not just running. You're not just like turning the wheels. You're climbing and you're descending. And I know Cherie and we spent a lot of time like really improving our power hike, because when Cherie and I first were training together, she would power hike and then I would have to run to catch up to her because I was not as fast. And it took me all
Mm,
that time that we trained together to be as fast as she was at power hiking. And that's what really, I mean, you need that skill. You really
mm,
do. Um, so it's oh, it's fun. It's like it's a puzzle. It's a I don't it's a goal, but what's a bigger word than a goal? Like I don't know. Come
How
up
did
with
you
it.
experience the fatigue? Like, do you recall feeling really, you know, really tired, or did you just have momentum and like your camaraderie kind of kept you awake?
Yeah, I didn't get super tired. I, when I ran Vermont 2 years ago now, I experienced the sleepies like never before,
Mm.
and I was shocked because in the cut I did not have that. Like in none of my other ones before did I have that. Like the cut, I mean, I think I remember sitting or not sitting, I was leaning my butt against the back of the car, um, probably at the park and ride or Guidas and just being like
mhm,
kind of like drained and just standing there like feeling like a rag doll, but like I wasn't wanting to like the draw to lay down and sleep was not pulling
mm,
me. I felt awake and, occupied the whole time. So
Yeah,
I didn't have any trouble with that.
Mm.
yeah, I feel the same way. I don't get like I don't stay up late at night. I'm a solid like usually like this is past my bedtime now. Like I love my sleep, but when I run and I run throughout the night, I don't get tired. I don't know if it's because everything hurts so much. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I was just thinking also when we were talking about like the various ways that you can kind of encourage women to do more running. I was thinking of I haven't done it, but I don't really like enjoy loop races, which is part of why I didn't do it. But I like the idea of the Lake Mohegan, I think, trail race that's all women. I think that's really cool. And if it was something maybe that wasn't the loop, I would consider doing it. I did think about doing that one, just because I was like, oh, I've never experienced. I mean, I guess I ran track for like 1 year in high school, but where I ran it with girls, but only. But it's been a long time since I've just run with women. And yeah, I mean the trail group, the Ramblers. Sometimes I'll look at the pictures and I'll be like, wow, that's a lot of guys, and me, the old lady.
mm.
um, so it would be, yeah, it would just be neat to have more events like that. Whoever is listening and wants to plan them.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like exclusionary, but um, because there are no all boy races.
That's true.
But
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
I think it's okay. I think
Is it
we
okay?
probably owe you one or two at this point, right? So,
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about the participation levels in general. I guess there are like the two things. There's the cutoff question, and I do feel like maybe women are a little more could lean toward being more paranoid to like, I don't want to sign up for that race, plan to do it, and then like get cut off. Like that would be a big bummer. And then there's also just the idea of being in the dark by yourself, right? I mean, you can have pacers at the cut, but you might be out, you might be in the dark in the woods by yourself. And that might be just a little more anxiety producing for women. So
I think that's actually a good point that we didn't discuss yet, because I do know a lot of women who, even in the daytime, are just like, yeah, no, I don't do trails by myself. And that is a unique experience that women feel, that kind of that fear factor, especially, and then in the dark, you add that. So maybe that is one of the things that are preventing women from doing something like this.
mm,
Um, I I'm such a people person. I think that I would not want to be, I don't know. There's gonna, again, we go back to this, like, there's gonna be some women that are gonna want to go out there and be alone and be okay. And then there's gonna be some women that go out there and be like, no, I do not want to be in the dark by myself. Then we'll
mm.
make that happen. You will not be alone in the dark. Done. We will
Mhm.
find you pacers for that
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
You
you can
know,
definitely. I think that would be
Yeah.
an
easy
easy
fix.
problem to solve, but it is, and also it's kind of empowering to do shit that scares you, you know.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, and I'm not like telling anybody what to do or anything like that, but I'm forgetting the name of the oh boy, there's a road crossing in the cut that's over by, it's towards the end. You kind of go by, I guess it's coming up by Bimble or somewhere. There's like a reservoir that you go up. You cross over this little road, and then it goes up pretty steeply, and then you go along the edge. I
Is
forget
that
what
Goat
it's.
Road or something like that?
Yeah, if you take it back, actually, if you take it the opposite way, it gets you back to Artie's or Softails.
could you say
So,
that? Yeah. Can you say that
eh,
again? I just sort of like phased out for a minute, but I just
yeah.
ran that. So I'm like, wait, what did he say?
Okay, so I'm saying that there's a road that you cross that's right by the water towards the end, and it's dark, and it's not so
Yeah.
much. Here's the moral of the story. It's a very dark place. Like there are no
Okay.
lights in this place. Okay,
Mm.
and I'm fine with running as the sun goes down and it gets dark. That's not a problem, right? For me, I've done that and it's no problem. But I went and did this run there and drove out there in the middle of the night and got out of my car, closed the door, and it was just dark, and ran up the trail, and it was just pitch black, and there were like some owls jumped out of trees at me, and all sorts of crazy stuff was happening. And at first I was just I have to say I was a little bit it was a little bit different for me, to do that. And it was amazing though that by the end of it, it was no problem. I got used to it.
Mm.
So I think that doing things like that make you uncomfortable, if you think that you're afraid of running in the dark or you're uncomfortable with that, go out and do it, right?
Mhm.
Go out and do it because like, I don't know. I think that once you do that and then you get a sense of like, yeah, I was nervous, but I got through that and there you go.
You can also
So
carry things with you like Bear's pepper spray and
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Or two bear sprays.
I have my pepper small bear spray for like multiple reasons, but that could be one of them. Um so yeah. I mean, I run by myself a lot and I don't feel during the day I don't feel badly at all, but I would feel a little uncomfortable totally at night. Although, I mean, really no one is out there at night doing
Mm.
I mean, for the most part, bad stuff. But
But I
so
think you make a good point, Art. Like not too long ago, I went backpacking I love backpacking, but I always go with someone. And I
Hmm.
was like, nope, I'm going to go by myself. I'm going to go on my first overnight adventure. And it was a little bit of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And again, I do think that's something that, women fear maybe more than men. With good reason, but I think you're right. Because now I'm just like, ooh, let me go again and let me go longer and let me go scarier. I mean, not scarier, but like
Hmm.
deeper into the woods or further away from home or, like
Yeah.
because we are capable of all these things,
Yep.
and some of our fears rational, but some of our fears irrational. And you make a great point. Like by doing those things, by pushing ourselves to that limit, that's when we can really see what we are capable of.
Mm. And then it ceases to be something that is being done to us.
Yes.
Like now, oh no, it's getting dark. What am I going to do? I'm alone, right? Instead of like, it's dark and I choose to go out into the dark, you know? And it's a very different thing. And that's kind of what running, ultra running's about is that like, yeah, running 112 miles is a horrible thing, like at a certain level. But if it's my thing that I choose to do, then I own that and it's not so bad,
You know,
you know.
it can also be a gradual thing, right? You don't have to suddenly
Yes.
go out into the dark and run on Ragged Mountain, but each little step that you take, will lead you to something
Or you take your
more
good
exciting.
support friend with you, right?
Yeah.
And you run together there. So I'm not saying that you necessarily even have to do that if that's not your thing. So
But also like running at night is so fun. I mean,
Oh, it's so
can be
fun.
so
I
fun.
know. I love it.
Yeah,
I
it's
love,
really,
love, love the trails at night, but at the same time, I'm not a fan of doing it by myself. Like, I really wouldn't choose to do it by myself.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I've started the Schnipsa end to end super early in the morning when
yeah,
it's dark, but I know it's going to get light, like
Yeah.
mm,
in an hour and a half.
right.
But like, if I had to run overnight, but like, that's one thing I'm a little bit nervous is not having, like, at Vermont, you're not really too far from people. There's just people
Hmm.
all around, even at night. But I am a little bit nervous about being sort of like separated from a group and being by myself, like in the dark, by myself in the dark. Um,
mm.
so yeah, it's just the idea that you are there by yourself and like, oh my God, the coyotes scare me. Like seeing, and I'm more worried about the animal, but yeah, I think that when we can be there for each other though, so you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
Sherry, when
agreed.
is Eastern States? Like how much longer do you have
It's
before?
August 8th and 9th, that
Okay.
weekend. So it's getting close.
Yeah. And Jillian, do you have any like things in the future that you're looking forward to? More backpacking trips? That's very exciting. Like maybe
Well,
you can talk a little bit
oh
more
yeah,
about that.
I love it. I really want to do more of that. Well, so I decided I was going to train for this thing called the cut. And as soon as that happened, I signed up for the Notchview 12-hour I think it's the nocturnal thing. It was the only one available at this point.
Yes.
I waited till the last second. Um, and I mean, this has been a very weird year. So like running has kind of gone up and down, up and down. I started teaching yoga, so I do a lot of yoga. So there's a lot of different training happening, but my running has kind of fluctuated. So then when, I paced for the cut and I got this idea and I get all excited, I started signing up for stuff. So, um, so that, and I decided I really, really want to do, the catnip this year. So do,
Good.
the Catskills Marathon and then do the Nipmuc Marathon. And then I want to do, again, this is just within the last week. I've decided all this, by the
Mm.
way. Um, and then I'm like, and then I want to do the Schnipsa E to E because it's been a few years since I've done that. And,
Yeah.
again, that's something that we haven't seen a lot of women participate in lately. So like, let's do
Mm.
that. And again, this is This is Jillian. Like I'm like my longest run recently has been like maybe 9 miles. Like I haven't been really, but I know what's in there. Like it's in there. I just
Hmm.
have to bring it out again. Like I did the 100 last summer, so it's not like it's been a long time. But um, again, it goes back to this whole idea that if I want to do it, I know I can. So
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I think before I did 22 miles pacing Michael, and I was like, I think I've run more than 10 miles like 3 or 4 times in September. You know, I mean, like 15 miles.
yeah,
Okay. And I was like, that's not the greatest. And if you know you did it before, whatever, it just sort of happens.
Mm.
It's nice to have like the backdrop of it happened so it can happen again. I don't know. That
yeah,
probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but um,
I know I can
Now
do
that,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely something to that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear you're going to do Cat's Tail because I'm signed up for that. And there's like a fun dinner
Oh, see,
beforehand.
I've never been. I'm really
Yeah,
excited.
that's very fun. I signed up for it. At least it'll be the third time. And the second time was better than the first time. So
Okay. Yeah, it's been something that's kind of on my bucket list, and now all of a sudden I'm like bringing out that bucket list. I'm
yeah.
dusting it off and going, let's do this. So,
You know what?
Mm.
Not last year, but the year before, I did the Cat's Tail and the Nipmuc. And let me tell you, the three people who got the little Cherie, I think you
Yes.
were there. Like the three people who got the cup, they were all women over
Yep.
50.
yeah. Well, Karen
Very
does it every
good.
I thought that
year.
was pretty
Yeah.
I
awesome.
mean,
Yeah, she
Karen,
was. Yeah,
yeah, Karen's done it every
exactly.
year.
Where are all
I've known
like
her.
where? How can we are
Is
representing catnip? I didn't do it last year, but maybe I'll do it this year.
so is Karen going to join your group?
Yes, she
That's
I'm
should.
why I
gonna
said
Shouldn't
message
she
she?
her.
has to do it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, didn't
Just
she?
subliminal.
Didn't she write something about it? Yeah, in the comment.
She's not on my list.
Oh no. Okay.
Nope.
She is
I thought I
now.
saw
She,
something.
You
yeah,
can
she is
thank me
now.
later, Karen. Thank me later.
So the
Yeah.
Connecticut Women's Training Group it's up and running. The Facebook page is up and running.
Oh,
So you guys
can
know.
you? Yeah. How do you? I didn't know that. So how do you?
I did
You
it
just need.
about 3 minutes before we started this,
Okay.
and have been accepting people I've been
Oh,
multitasking.
excellent.
So we were up to 12 members.
Very
Um,
cool.
but yeah, so I actually put a link
Oh,
in on my post on the cut page. There's a link to the women's training group. But this is my first time doing a Facebook group, so be patient with me. Number one, number two, it's a private group, so I think it goes through like I have to accept you. So, um,
great.
yeah.
So if people are interested, they can go to the CUT112
Hmm.
group and see this embedded in the post, right?
Yes,
That's what you're saying.
yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I can actually just create a new post too, and like so it's up there.
That would be great.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
please.
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
the I don't know if you guys have checked out the um cover group, the cover picture, but it is a woman riding Shadow Bear
Excellent.
Oh, there you
with
go.
the bib number 112. So
Love it.
yeah,
Yeah,
here
that's
we are.
perfect.
So yeah, I'll do that. And yep, it's Tuesday. So we'll do like a Tuesday just because,
Yeah, Jackie was all over that today. She's like, "Hey, it's Tuesday. How's everybody doing?
yeah.
Hey, checking in." So
One
she
little detail, and I'm just again speaking from my own experience, is that the thing that I personally feel like would help me do something like that is strength training, and I do nothing, no strength training. But I feel like when you're doing an event like that, and I don't know if you guys did a lot of it before your event, like that would help so much. So I'm hopeful that I'll join the group and just get some inspiration to just not just run, hike, or whatever, but like build the structure that can withstand the stress, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when we were training before, I got a Bosu ball,
Mhm.
because that's another thing is that you really want to strengthen your ankles
I
like a
bought one, but I
ton.
didn't use it. And I
I say that I
gave it
think
to
I might have
Kelsey.
used it like 5 times. I'm gonna be honest about that. But but that's something I know in this transition, and Sherry spoke to this, in my life, that it's really important for women in our age to do more strength training. And I think to train for the cut, your ankles need to be like super solid, yoga. I
Hmm.
swear to this, yoga really, really does help because,
Mhm.
you do all those balancing poses and stuff, and it's all those little muscles around your ankles. And so you go on those shitty rocks that are all over the cut and you roll stuff. If you're used to having that stability in your ankles, then you're you're gonna survive. So yeah, I think strength training is a huge thing. I remember when Sherry and I first got on the trails and started training for the cut, I thought, oh, I need to be on a stair climber. And
Mhm.
so I did try to go like once a week on a stair climber. And I just did that the other day. I was like, stair climber. So there's definitely things that um like strength training, like the Bosey ball, like the stair climber, all those things are going to help for sure. And that's one of the things I want to have this group for, so we can on
Yeah.
Tuesdays or whenever be like, hey, I'm doing this, or like, does anyone have any strength training? Because
Mm.
I'm not great at strength training. I'm not like an expert on it. So if I'm sure there's other women in this group or around that's going to have a lot more information about that, and so we can have this platform to share it on.
Mhm.
Yeah, excellent.
All right.
Well, we know it's past Jillian's bedtime.
It is.
Yeah, I've moved into the bed.
Oh, I saw you move somewhere and I didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, I was like, it's his time. It's his time. But yeah, I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for letting us come on this and on the podcast and talk more about this. And I really hope that um I know, I'm not even gonna say I hope. I know this is gonna turn into
Yeah.
something epic, I think.
Mhm.
So
Epic. I think you were looking for a word before. Maybe that was the word you were
maybe it
looking
is.
for.
Maybe it's gonna be
Yeah.
epic.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just, as I posted there, I think this is maybe my favorite post ever. The fact that you did that is just wonderful. I think it's just the momentum. Uh, hopefully that's going to get people going here in the right way. So thank you both for doing that and for all the support that you've given the cut over the years. So that's really great. So
Yeah. And I'll just echo those sentiments. I'm super excited to see where this goes. And with like the volume of interest, it's going to go like that, right? It's
Yeah.
going to go up. It's going to expand. Motivation is going to happen. Maybe not, maybe not everyone does the cut, but they're going to eventually do the cut.
Or even come
Yeah.
out and just
Yeah.
train.
Or just,
I
Yeah.
mean,
just
and
get
that's
to
the
know the
thing is
trails.
that just having a running group, even if you're like, okay, maybe I'm not going to do the cut, maybe I'll do the butt, maybe I'll do the mutt, maybe I'll just go out there and crew and pace and help you guys. But it's just getting women out there,
Mhm.
and also, it's really important to note that doing the cut, and I know we talked about this, and not finishing it is still awesome. That's the thing. There's value in DNFing, and DNFing a race like the cut is is not only understandable, it's still like it's valuable.
mm,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah,
And don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of the
Right.
DNF,
Don't do
you
it.
know?
Don't not do it because you think it might happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Is what you're saying,
correct, correct. Because I think we talk about this in ultra running all the time. Is that quite often we underestimate what we're capable of. Except for me, I always overestimate what I'm capable of and underestimate the task at hand. But no, I would I think there is something to be said for that. Is that I think I had heard a podcast that mentioned that men tend to um, think that they can do something that they might not be able to do, and that women tend to stick with things that they know for certain they can do. In general, so that can kind of work against you sometimes because
Yeah.
that means that you have to convince yourself that that you can do the whole cut and that you can definitely do that, and sometimes that can be terrifying. I mean, But lots of times it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Like you have to say like, why not me? If
Yeah.
because really, if you keep moving and you don't sleep, you finish.
Mhm.
So it is wonderful. So Anna, did you
How
have?
many people
Oh,
did we, how many women, sorry, how many women did we say finished it total? Like
I
10?
I went to I couldn't find 2025, and I don't think there were any women in 2025, but I think it
No,
was something like 10.
10. So
mhm.
Yeah.
what if the goal is that we get
Oh,
10?
there was one, Erica Nortini. Nortini,
Oh
did I
yeah,
say that right?
yes, Erica, because it
Oh,
wasn't a
Erica
Yes,
did
single
last year.
event.
Oh, okay.
People
Okay.
did it at their own
yes,
pace. So
Oh,
yes,
that's what
yeah,
happened. Okay, right,
Erica.
right,
I
right. Got
remember
it.
that
yeah,
now.
Yes,
So let's say
actually,
11. Let's say 11
I was
women
on her
finished
crew
it.
last year.
Yeah.
I
yes,
left that
Yeah.
out.
yeah. Now there's somebody like you know there are like so many there's quite a few people out there who are just doing amazing things.
Hmm.
Amber Constant, right? If anybody gets a chance, hopefully we're going to be talking to her soon on the show. She's out doing a vertical challenge in the White Mountains. So looking to set the world record for vert,
Oh, wow.
for the most vert done in a year. So
Oh my
she's
God.
just out knocking out
Holy,
thousands of feet a day, every day
holy
in the
hell.
whites. So yeah,
Amazing.
holy hell is
Yeah, like
right. Like
11,000 to get 11,000, like 10,000 a day or something like that.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's really something. So
Goodness.
but you don't have to do that. You don't have
No.
to do all that. Okay. I mean, you know, you can just do the cut, right? It'll
Yeah,
be
just do the
easy.
cut. So wouldn't it be awesome if we could double that number? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I thank you so much for coming on to talk about this and for coming up with the idea and for, everything that you guys have done. So, it's just awesome. So,
Yes. Yeah. Super exciting. And thank you so much
Well, thank you
for thinking
guys.
of it
Yeah,
and putting
And
it out
Art,
there,
honestly, thank you because
I know.
yeah,
Jillian for throwing it out there, doing what everybody is thinking. And
that's
so
all it
now we
is.
can just put this into action.
Mhm.
that's right. That's right. All right. Anna, did you have any closing arguments?
No, I think I just made them. I'm
I
good.
think you did. So, all right. Well, I want to thank you guys again and thank all of our listeners out there. If you've made it this far, of course, seek professional help, and we will see you all in a mile.
Mile and a
Mile
half.
and a
And a
half.
half.
All right. All right.
I I posted that and I was blown away by how many people were just like, "Oh my
I
God, yes,
know.
yes, yes,
It
yes,
took
yes."
off.
And like within hours, I was like, "Oh my God, this is a thing.
It
This is going to
is.
happen."
And yeah, and you guys are the leaders, you know.
So
Look what you did now. Very good.
yeah, we
You
need
know.
stickers and shirts.
Okay. All right. I will if you have ideas on designs, great. If you yeah, that would be that would be
It's probably
great.
Oh
something more
yeah.
like exciting than Ladies of the Cut, but that's, straight. I don't know. Like, well, we can think about it like little
Yeah.
Yeah.
punny sort of things.
Yeah.
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 Good.
I like punny. I mean, I know that like we've all been talking about the cunt, you know.
I thought of that word and I was like, yeah, that's not the word.
Well, and so that's the whole thing about like
I just thought of that word.
That's
and
like we just took a giant step
I know.
backwards.
right, right.
And lost any
It's like,
credibility we had. We
will
just
not
lost.
work.
Half the audience is happy
Well,
about it,
and that
half
was
the
part
audience
of the
is not.
conversation was the what was the Connecticut Ultra non-male traverse, you know?
Yes.
And I think it's fantastic, but like I actually like when I was making the Facebook and I was like, no, like Like I love it. I think it's funny. I think it's witty. And I think I am gonna be like, oh, see you next Tuesday because I
Yes.
think that's still witty, but that's like
Yeah.
just witty enough but and clean enough to be cool, but not to push people away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know because Sherry hates that word. You see her?
I'm
She's
telling you, I love swearing, but I hate that word.
I'm I'm with you on that, Sherry.
No, I don't
I'm
use that.
like
I
something
don't like that
about
word at
yeah,
all.
no,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
Well, there you
There's
go.
some actually there's some I don't know who from Ted Lasso, Roy. Do you guys watch Ted Lasso? Like I think I'm
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Golds, whatever his name
Roy
is.
Clark.
Brett. Yeah, Brett Goldstein.
Roy
Yeah, Roy
Kent.
Kent. I saw him actually
Roy Kent.
like live, but I heard some show with him, and he was saying that in England they use that word with a
Yeah.
Y, and like that's a common word that people will say. They'll be like, but it has a very specific meaning in England, and it's okay to say it. But
Mhm.
he said like, but when I'm here in the United States, like you can't say that word.
That's
What
right,
does it
yes.
mean over there?
I think it's like a just a jest kind of, oh, you're ridiculous sort of kind of type
Yeah.
Mhm.
thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Don't act whatever that, that way. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we'll think of it.
Good.
We'll think of something else.
Oh,
Yeah. So we'll do witty, but also like family friendly.
Right.
oh, you don't have to go that far, right?
Family
Look,
friendly-ish.
it has to be something you would be okay wearing on a shirt. I went to a concert of a band called Prism Bitch, and I bought a hat. It's like an awesome hat, but I could, like, where am I going to wear
Yeah.
this
That's
hat?
I
I
don't
actually
know.
wore it in New Hampshire. I went on a like I went on one of the mountains and I wore that hat in the mountain because no one else was there. But it has to be a shirt. Yeah, you feel comfortable going to the store,
Hmm.
and I think maybe. But
If you have a logo or anything like that you want me to include for the episode, that would
oh,
be,
Logo.
a logo. I mean, I can help with that too, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's
maybe
not
I
do a
do
like
love the
picture from
idea.
when you finished the race, like in 2022, the two of you. You probably do.
Do we have a what? Like
A
a
picture of the two of you when you finish the race. And
oh yeah.
yeah. Like that would be cool to
Oh
see
yeah.
your smiles. I don't know.
Well, you
Well,
have the
art, yeah.
the bear, the the woman riding
Oh
shadow
yeah,
bear.
The woman riding the
that's
shadow
true.
bear.
Yeah.
I do love that idea. But
I yeah, huh.
hmm.
What do you think,
I
Art,
mean, for
from
the
your?
photo.
Nothing appropriate. No, I'm
Okay.
thinking I was thinking of the woman riding the bear. I mean,
Oh,
I don't know, like something like dominant, I don't know.
yeah.
Like I said, nothing
With the whip,
appropriate.
the
Something, yeah, but no, that's probably like not going to help either. So,
the
um,
bear's being all submissive.
yeah,
Yeah.
like making shadow. Yeah.